What's going on, guys? This is Riggs and welcome back to another PUBG Mobile video. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and outline 3 tips to help you improve your KD. So by the time you get to the very end of this video, I guarantee you start implementing these strategies and these tips and tricks that we discussed in today's video, you will see your kill-death ratio begin to increase. I'm not the best player. You guys remind me of that every single day. However, using these strategies have been able to not only, if it helps me, it's for sure going to help you. So let's go ahead and jump into it. First one is a very funny name, but it is very, very effective. Of course, what are we talking about? We're talking about Jiggle. Very basic, but very effective. How do you do this? It's very simple. As you're holding down the fire button, you're just moving the joystick left to right. You're more or less spamming it. When would you use something like this? Usually when you're coming up on a doorway, right? And you're gonna be pre-firing, whether you're clearing rooms and an enemy, pops out, great for, coming up against somebody who is camping you. Whether you're shooting in or out of windows, and there's many different scenarios. These are just some of the main ones. What I also want to do for each of these is outline the pros. It's very important that you understand, of course, the pros and why you're doing these strategies, but of course the cons as well. So starting with the pros, as I mentioned, it's very basic and it's really good for thumb players. Not everybody is out there, not everybody out there is playing gyro, is playing 4-finger claw, 6-finger claw, none of that. So it's great for thumb players. Like I said, it's the most basic move that you can do that is going to help you in those close quarter combat fights. Another great thing about this strategy is you don't lose mobility. There's no crouching, there's no proning, you're on your feet the whole time, and now that you can turn up the sprint sensitivity option, you can do this move even faster. Really, really nice. And it's unexpected. The enemy often will not expect somebody to do this, and it's a great way to trip them up, and it just might give you the edge you need in order to beat some of these players that you're going up against. All right, now this move is a little bit more advanced compared to something like Jiggle, but it does give you a huge advantage over the enemy. So you're basically doing 4 things at once. As you're moving, you're also aiming at the same time as shooting, right? And of course, you're crouching at the exact same time. So someone that is an all thumb player, unless you have gyro, this will not be possible. But if you're a thumb player and you're playing gyro, you can do this. Of course, 4-finger, claw, 3-finger players will be able to do something like this because you're aiming while you're using the gyro. So it makes it a little bit easier rather than dedicating a finger to do the aiming. So what are the benefits of crouch fire, right? Of course, being more accurate because you're crouched down, whether you're moving or not, because you're crouched down versus standing, automatically this is going to be more accurate. So it works not only in close quarter combat, but also, even 20 or 30 meters away. Very, very effective if you're not ADSing. It's a great way to catch the enemy off guard. Also, when you're fighting multiple enemies at once, this is a great thing that you can do, and especially, like I said, because you can spam this move now, it is incredible. As far as the cons, truly the only con that I can really think of for crouch fire is you do lose some of your mobility as you are crouched. But as you can see, the 4 or 5 pros versus the 1 con, I mean, it's just something that I want you to be aware of, that as you're crouched, you lose mobility. All right, and the last one we're gonna be talking about on our little list today is Dropshot, which is, of course, my personal favorite. I would say it's the most advanced because of how situational it is, but in the situations you would use Dropshot, it is hands down it is the best at what it does. So again, let's go ahead and start off with the pros to Dropshotting. The fact of how accurate it is. Of course, we all know that any weapon you shoot while you're on your belly or proned out in this game is going to give you the least amount of recoil, meaning it's more accurate. So that's number 1. It is the best way when you're fighting a single enemy. You will trick them almost every single time using this strat. And why? Simply based on the fact that it keeps you one step ahead of the enemy. They're never going to expect it. And it's harder for the enemy to shoot you. If you think of yourself standing up versus when you are prone, how much more of your body is exposed? Of course, standing up is exposing more of your body, right? And it's happening so quickly, all at the same time as you're shooting them. It is a recipe for disaster for the enemy. Again, I want you guys to know about the cons as well. This is not good when you're taking on multiple enemies. You know, versus crouch fire versus jiggle, that can be, it's more of like a spray, right? So you can be doing multiple damage to multiple enemies at the same time. Whereas this one, it's kind of like, it's the best in those 1v1 situations. If there's two enemies coming up on you and you're drop shotting, you're more or less only going to drop shot one of them while the other one quickly figures out what you're up to, and then they're going to aim down and then kill you. So it's not good when you're taking on more than one enemy. Now, unlike crouch fire, when you're moving, aiming, shooting, and crouching all at the same time, what's nice about this one is you're not moving, right? You will be moving, and then you drop directly to the ground into the crouch fire. So basically, you're just aiming, shooting, and then you're going prone. So it's almost, it can almost be easier to do drop shot. But you just have to understand the situation in when you would and when you would not use this move. All right, now the best way for you guys to do these, and it sounds kind of stupid to even say it, but you need to play the game. You need to play the game. You need to make sure that you are practicing. All right, and if you're doing something new, whether jiggle's new to you, whether crouch fire, whether drop shot's new to you, the best way to practice is two ways. Number one, of course, to get into the training grounds. You guys know how much I love the training grounds. Get into the training grounds. You might have to adjust your HUD layout a little bit in order to perform some of these moves, because you're doing you know, more than two, sometimes in some situations more than three things at the same time. You might have to adjust your buttons around a little bit. So get into the training grounds, knock that out, and of course TDMs. It's the best way. These are all close, for the most part, these are all close quarter combat moves. Get into TDMs. It forces you to be up close and personal with the enemy, and it doesn't matter how many times you die. You just go ahead and load back in the next one until you get your sensitivities down, your button layouts. The button layouts is probably the most important. And of course, just getting the muscle memory. And the way you do that is by simply playing the game. You got to play the game, fam. I really hope you enjoyed this video. 3 tips to help you improve your KD. If they can help a bot like me, they're for sure going to help you improve your gameplay. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop a like on your way out if you haven't already. But until the very next one, this has been Riggs from Riggs Gaming.